July 1st, 2018. This video is called Mutant Conjoined Flower Stem, species Penstemon. Now this is a normal one here. I grew these last year from seed last year, and look at how huge they got. They're just growing like great. It's a species Penstemon. I don't think it matters because I can't dig up that information, the species. But this is the most bizarre one I found all year, and it's the most disheartening because it got munched, but I still have parts of it. Now, out of all the plants, there's a few of them that actually had pink flowers on it. Now, I don't think pink is like, it's different. It's not like the species. I wouldn't consider it a mutation, but it possibly is. Might be a recessive gene. I'm not getting into that because I don't know anything about that, but I'll show you what definitely is the mutation. Unfortunately, a deer mowed it, and I was going to make this video the very next day, and here is the stem. Actually, it might actually been in the good, because now we could determine how many plants were in it. It looks like there's actually 3, although the flower stem mutates like crazy. There were 2 mutations on this. Now here is the long stem. Usually these stems, I would say they are about 3 feet tall with the flower on top. I couldn't believe this because I wanted to maybe save some seed from this, but this will be impossible. So here's where it got. Actually, I'm missing a part. It looks like I'm missing a part. Yeah, because there were actually 2 mutations on this, so wait a second here. Well, anyways, here is the flattened flower stem. There are a ton of flowers. Now we're going to go up against a normal one. Unfortunately, the most unusual mutation this year was destroyed by that deer. Okay, so that is just the stem, and there were 2 mutations. Here's the second stem, but let's go straight to the flower. Look at that. See, that's where he ate it. This isn't even the good one. Look at this. This thing would have bloomed out like crazy.
I was quite upset.
Look at this. This would have been amazing. No, this is... I'll let that be because it sounds so disruptive, just like these genes have been disrupted. Look at that. But look at this, isn't even the good one. Look at this, there's hundreds of flowers. Here is the good one. I had it in water. This is so sad. It's almost like I feel sorry for the mutation. But look at this. I still cannot believe that deer ate this. Look at this. This thing would have bloomed probably for about a couple. Look at this. It's incredible. This is a fasciation. This makes me sick. It almost looks like the DNA helix, doesn't it? So this is the better of the mutation, and is this incredible? This is incredibly sad. It got destroyed. So, unfortunately, the best specimen ever out of the mutant garden is just gonna mush up and die. So there you go. I've got a couple more videos. There's more mutations. This is, if this is the future, this is kind of crazy here. So, there you go. A mutant conjoined Penstemon species. We'll put this together. And this is what is normal here. Alright, well, I'm going to put some still pictures up here of what this looked like the day before it got chewed.
Long-lived radionuclides, such as cesium-137, are something new to us as a species. They did not exist on Earth in any appreciable quantities during the entire evolution of complex life. Although they are invisible to our senses, they are millions of times more poisonous than most of the common poisons we are familiar with. Because cancer, leukemia, genetic mutations, birth defects, malformations, and abortions at concentrations almost below human recognition and comprehension. They are lethal at the atomic or molecular level. They emit radiation, invisible forms of matter and energy that we might compare to fire, because radiation burns and destroys human tissue. But unlike the fire of fossil fuels, the nuclear fire that issues forth from radioactive elements cannot be extinguished. It is not a fire that can be scattered or suffocated because it burns at the atomic level. It comes from the disintegration of single atoms. Thus, radioactivity is a term which indicates how many radioactive atoms are disintegrating in a time period. We measure the intensity of radioactivity by the rate of disintegrations and the energy they produce. 1 becquerel is equal to 1 atomic disintegration per second. 1 curie is defined as that amount of any radioactive material that will decay at a rate of 37 billion disintegrations per second. So 1 curie equals 37 billion becquerels. Sometimes these man-made radionuclides are compared to naturally occurring radionuclides, such as potassium-40, which is always found in bananas and other fruits. However, this is a false comparison, since naturally occurring radioactive elements are very weakly radioactive. In the charts from the labs that are in green up there, the radioactivity is described as a specific activity. Note that potassium-40 has a specific activity of 71 10-millionths of a curie per gram. Compare that to the 88 curies per gram for cesium-137. It's like comparing a stick of dynamite to an atomic bomb. Highly radioactive fission products such as cesium-137 and strontium-90 emit 10 to 20 million times more radiation per unit volume than does potassium-40. So which one of these would you rather have in your bananas? It is, in fact, the amount of cesium-137 deposited per square kilometer of land that defines the degree to which an area is classified as being too radioactive to work or live. One may get an idea of the extreme toxicity of cesium-137 by considering how little of it is required to make a large area of land uninhabitable. The lands that were grossly contaminated by the destruction of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant are classified by the number of curies of radiation per square kilometer. There were 3,840 square miles of land contaminated with 15 to 40 curies of radiation per square kilometer. These lands are considered strict radiation dose control zones. The 1,100 square mile uninhabitable exclusion zone that surrounds a destroyed Chernobyl reactor has greater than 40 curies of radioactivity per square kilometer. For those more familiar with square miles, that would be 104 curies per square mile. Consider again that 1 gram of cesium-137 has 88 curies of radioactivity. Thus, as little as 1/3 of a gram of cesium-137 made into microparticles, distributed as a smoke or gas over an area of 1 square kilometer will make that square kilometer uninhabitable. Less than 2 grams of cesium-137, a piece smaller than an American dime, if made into microparticles and evenly distributed over as a radioactive gas over an area of 1 square mile, will turn that square mile into an uninhabitable radioactive exclusion zone. Central Park in New York City can be made uninhabitable by 2 grams of microparticles of cesium-137. Hard to believe, isn't it? Remember, these nuclear poisons are lethal at the atomic level. There are as many atoms in 1 gram of cesium-137 as there are grains of sand in all the beaches of the world. I hope I've made it clear that long-lived radionuclides produced by nuclear power plants are neither safe nor clean. Would suggest that it is a very bad idea to manufacture these nuclear poisons to try to make electricity. That it's past time we stop manufacturing them and try to manage those which we have already created, which must be isolated from the ecosystems for at least 100,000 years.